Unless you people see signs and wonders, you will never believe. A couple of years ago, I was in Santa Fe, New Mexico with a friend, and we wanted to hike an ancient trail in Bandelier National Park. Has anyone seen this park? This hike contained 3 publicized wonders. First, we were told we would walk footpaths and trails that had been established and worn in by the ancient Pueblo people who had journeyed back and forth over 10,000 years ago. 2, we were told we would see ancient cave dwellings. And third, and best of all, we would get to see the earliest petroglyphs made by ancient Pueblo people on the wall, made by the Pueblo people of the Southwest. And so we walked the footpaths, worn so deep the edges of stone reached to our knees. We sat in cool cave dwellings among the mesa and marveled at a little pinhole in the stone in the ceiling, wondering if it had helped them tell time long, long ago. And after a couple of hours of hiking and talking, we returned to the car, and I stopped my friend, but wait, what about the third wonder we were promised? What about the petroglyphs? I mean, where were those? She laughed, and then, realizing I was serious, stared at me with huge round eyes. You saw them. A while back, when we were stopped at that wall with all those tourists taking pictures, she said. Oh, that, I said. I mean, I thought that was like recent graffiti or like kids' drawings from a couple of years ago. I mean, I didn't think that was anything. Those were them, she said. Taryn, those drawings were over 10,000 years old. Are you serious? That chicken scratch? I said. It was like a smiley face and some stick figures. She was like, what were you expecting? They did not have tools. I could not believe what I had seen. I could not believe what I had seen. I later learned the art I had missed included possibly the earliest rendering of the fertility god Kokopelli. It turns out the oldest art in the world is really the earliest form of graffiti. Yes, it is, or the equivalent of doodling on the margins. And what had I been expecting that had caused me to miss that those doodles were thousands of years old, that they were echoes of the earliest humans trying to communicate something to me in my time? I could see it. I mean, I did see it, but I could not believe it. The Gospel of John that we heard is filled with mysticism and miracle as the people of Capernaum, of Galilee, and Samaria all miss the signs that Jesus is trying to show them again and again. The signs that God's work in the world cannot be explained. You see, by this point in his journeys and in his teachings, Jesus is pretty much done explaining. I mean, Jesus now is trying to show and not tell. It's not about the right words or the right teachings or getting all the sacraments done perfectly or on the right day of the week. Jesus is intent now in getting to Jerusalem. He is feeling like he is running out of time in his life, that he may not have enough time left to explain a completely new way of life. Like a completely new way of being in community, a completely new way of governance. So let me simply show you the way, he says. The way things can be if you believe life can be better than the life you see before you now. See, Jesus was not out here doing a lecture circuit. He was not doing TED Talks. He was all talked out by this point in the story. His own disciples, well, they could not understand either. And so it was time to simply do what he felt God's work was upon the earth and heal people. See, Jesus had already been through this place. He had already been through Cana by the time he met that government official whose son was sick. He had already turned the dang water into wine. It only took a few months, though, until people kind of started to wonder, like, had that even happened? Like, how many people saw it, really? Maybe he did the old bait and switch with the wine. It's really hard to accept the miracle of transformation. It is hard to imagine a whole new way of being on this earth without seeing the man behind the curtain. Like, how did he do it, though? What happens when someone expands the limit of what we can even imagine for ourselves? When someone dreams out loud in 1960s about a post-segregation society in which all children go to school together, all races of children go to school together. What happens when someone today describes a healthcare system that can support all of us? I mean, every one of us. Do we believe it? When someone imagines a system of mutual care and concern and support that requires no police force, at least not as we know it today. I mean, can you believe it, though? Since the very first human took their hand and made a print into the loamy, wet clay of a cave, announcing themselves to the world for no other reason than pure expression, we have always made signs pointing the way toward the life beyond the struggles of our time. See, that's what a sign is. Biblically and everywhere, a sign just points to something else. A world that is yet to come. A power beyond language's grasp. Can't be explained anymore. See, Jesus is no magician. It's not about seeing as believing, no. You have to believe, and then you will see. That's what he's trying to say. See, the opposite of faith is not doubt, no. The opposite of faith, as Barbara said, is despair. And we have a cynicism that has taken hold of us, my friends. We come to our own faith community right here, too often with the critic's mind. A heart ready to be disappointed. A critical thinking mind that has protected us. Yes, it has protected us against so much hurt, against injustice, against exclusion and abuse of power. So I understand it. And I even love that cynicism in a way. But I am here to tell you, you are in danger. You are in danger of missing the blessing that is in front of you. This is serious. This is a spiritual crisis. And in a way, we are all in this danger together. See, you might be traveling an ancient path right now, one that has been laid out for you by your ancestors or your spiritual mentors. And you might be walking right by that message that they laid out for you, this sign that portends something beyond explanation, a whole new way of being in the world. This was the point of Jesus healing that child in that story and all those deeds of power. You know, the word miracle in the ancient Greek translates to deeds of power. See, he was trying to show the people. He's trying to show the people that if healing is God's work, then it should be our work too. And if you want to see the deeds of power, the healing work that is happening all around you all the time, well, you've got to believe it is possible in the first place. You have to first believe it is even possible. It doesn't work the other way around. So the danger you are in is the danger of missing the blessing that is before you. When all through a pandemic and all through a reign of political terror, the congregation keeps on finding new and creative ways to assemble and heal, to inspire each other, don't miss that blessing. When the people speak out at the city council meeting in droves late into the night, and then a judge decides to extend the window for collecting signatures to stop Cop City, well, suddenly that cause is no longer lost. Suddenly, what we once called a done deal might actually be opening up for the river of justice to flow freely, for all voices to be heard. Don't miss that blessing. When the conversation you have been dreading finally happens and hearts are softer than expected, don't miss the blessing. When we show up to each other's crises, not perfectly, but with enough presence to withstand the storm, don't miss the blessing. When the worship service had some things you didn't really like or understand, or it had some flaws, but it also held a dozen beautiful moments of authentic inspiration, don't miss the blessing. That's right. When in states like Iowa, Ohio, and even Texas, my friends, a woman's right to choose or a person's right to choose their own, make reproductive choices for themselves continues to find new ways to thrive, and freedom begins to resurrect, yes, don't miss the blessing. When just as you hunger for community and connection, the truth that community and connection is reaching out to you, reaching back to you and calling you into sacred belonging, don't miss the blessing. See, our cynicism obscures these blessings. There is good reason. When we have to fight so hard just to be seen, just to feel free, just to love, just to exist, we can become harder. Well, we can cross our arms like that government official did in Cana and demand evidence that healing is still even possible. But a little spark of hope is trying to work on our hearts and on our spirits to lift the fog of cynicism that kept us safe for a time. Yes, it did. That kept us protected for a little while, yes, but is now obscuring our faith that healing is possible. Maybe not in the exact way we thought it was, but it is possible. And that true freedom that we cannot reduce nor understand is on its way. Toni Morrison said, "The function of freedom is to free somebody else." That's the work that is ours to do now. That is where love is calling us to be, to free somebody else. See, the signs and wonders will flourish eternal. They are here for you. If you are ready to receive the signs and wonders that point to the kingdom of heaven right here on earth. See, that's what we believe, that we make it heaven or hell right here, right now. That a new way is manifesting all the time. See, you can see it. You can see it in the signs that we ourselves lift up and carry proudly to the direction of heaven. Black Lives Matter. My body, my choice. Protect kids, not guns. Immigrants and refugees are welcome here. Trans lives are sacred. See, these signs, yes, point to the presence of hope and faith in our lives, calling us forward to a world where all of us are welcome, where all of us are performing miracles. All of us are healers and healing, freed and freeing, as we traverse ancient footpaths set before us by our spiritual ancestors who call us toward the kingdom of heaven, where all are included and cherished, where justice reigns. May we not, in our cynicism, reduce them to something that is too small for our call. May we stop holding out for what we wish we'd see today and really accept the signs that point to the world that we are, in fact, bringing into being. We are bringing into being with our own healing hands. our own proclaiming, our own deeds of power, miracles. Every one of us. And then follow these signs. Not because we can see the evidence of that world today, right now, but because we believe in love. We believe in the transforming power of love. A love greater than all we have known, a love greater than all we could even understand, that it is holding us and calling us there.